Welcome to another TerranScapes new release. This video features a new set of pieces designed for the 6mm Wargamer. I was contacted by a customer who is into 6mm dioramas, and he requested that I develop some terrain for his diorama. Now, in looking at 6mm gaming, particularly with micro armor, while not of course, the entirety of the scale, micro armor does feature a significant following and some absolutely fantastic miniatures. Now, they're so small, though, I may not be able to actually get a good close-up view because this camera cannot focus so close. But you can see, let's see here. For those of you who are not familiar with 6mm terrain, that is a truck. Or 6mm models, I should say. The micro armor pieces are incredibly detailed, and when I started looking at the site, I ordered a few so that I could use for the photos and to also get a better sense of the scale. And I ordered a couple of their sample packs. These are the Germans, and they come with a few infantry. They come with an armored vehicle and a light vehicle, and also comes with a artillery piece. So I mounted these. I mounted the units, the infantry and the howitzer. Well, forgive me, I don't know exactly what artillery piece that is, on 1-inch bases, which is typically what the micro armor rules specify for miniature basing. I left the vehicles unbased, as I'd seen many photos of vehicles unbased, and it also, I wanted the diversity for integrating into the terrain so that I could see how they would sit and be able to be placed within and amongst the terrain. The terrain features 3 different pieces. It's a new set of woods. The woods feature, wait a minute, let me get this off of here. The woods feature 6 trees. Each of the bases is approximately 4 inches in diameter. Now, looking at micro armor, they play on a hex system, or they have a terrain line called I forgot, Terrain Maker, I think, and it's hex styrofoam, and you can integrate the terrain in that sort of 4-inch size area. So I thought I should make it to fit that, and it also seems like a convenient size based on the scale of the miniatures, as one 4-inch piece looks about right when you place a tank in there in terms of having a forested area. So I wanted to develop that. Now, the trees are fixed in the base because they're so small. I wasn't confident I could develop holes that would allow tree removal and still be sturdy enough to stick the trees back in. This is mounted on styrene, which is thin enough but yet durable enough that I can drill into, glue the trees into them, and be able to have a relatively low profile for miniatures crawling up onto the terrain item. The other 2 pieces here. One is a difficult terrain. Now, this is very similar, actually, to the difficult terrain I do at 28mm, but what I've done is I've just scaled it down. A lot of small rock outcroppings, some scattered vegetation placed around it, and something that would allow the placement of vehicles and, more importantly, the placement of 1-inch base troops onto it without too much difficulty. Now, I wanted to stick with that 4-inch size, but I wanted to allow some flexibility. So what I've done is I've developed 2 pieces, and the 2 pieces could be, see if I can pan back over, could be placed together and cover roughly a 4x4-inch area, maybe just slightly over, depends on how you stitch them together. And so this still gives you the flexibility of trying to integrate this as a 4-inch area for total difficult terrain, or you could place them individually and have sort of a more strip or more kidney-shaped difficult terrain area. And lastly, I wanted to develop a bush sort of difficult ground rather than the broken ground with the rocks. And so here I've made these a little bit smaller. Again, you could pair them up and place them in the terrain to mark the whole hex, but of course they're individually placeable. And here, gosh, it's so hard to focus on this. It's so small. And here I've just adorned it with some vegetation and a few rocks scattered within. And again, trying to provide something that's going to be flexible enough to place troops within it, something that's going to be okay for placing the 1-inch bases on. I mean, you're going to have to lay them over if you want that level of detail. And on one of the bush stands, I threw in a few very small trees. Here are sort of like, these are young trees as opposed to a more mature stand in the forest. And here I was experimenting with mounting a tree on my my artillery base, just to give it, the look that, maybe they've placed it under there to hide from aerial detection. Boy, they're small. Anyway, this gives you a sense of at least a little bit about the scale of the pieces and their design. And I really encourage you, particularly for these, that you come to the website TerranScapes.com to see the photos of them, as this camera is not going to be able to zoom in enough to be able to capture the detail. And I do want to say that I've tried to mimic to scale all of the techniques that I utilize on the larger pieces. So people often ask me, what do you work with, tweezers? And I say, no, of course not. Well, in this case, actually, I am working with tweezers to place each little speck of foliage. I've built the bushes piece by piece rather than placing a whole big chunk of foliage on there, because that's never going to look natural. It doesn't have enough contour. It doesn't meet the ground in the proper way to give the appearance of vegetation at scale. So these are hand built using very small pieces of foliage, and I think the effect has been very, very successful. Now, of course, some of that detail is going to be lost to the gamer when you when you play at a tabletop view, but anytime you want to get up close to see what your miniatures are seeing, you're going to be rewarded, I hope, with something that looks really nice compared to the vehicles that you have on the table. I have to give Micro Armor a really big thumbs up. I was blown away by the detail, the casting quality, the general. It's hard to describe, but even on the tanks, they have like spare tread on the back, lots of exhaust ports, detailed little fine, pieces. Very impressive set. Made me want to play 6mm if I had time, but I don't think I do. Anyway, I hope you visit TerranScapes.com to see these pieces. They're going to be listed in the store in a new section for 6mm terrain exclusively. And if these receive a very positive reception, expect to see probably some pieces added to this line in the future. And I want to encourage 6mm gamers that come to the store to take a look at these pieces. This is a jumping off point for me. These seem like very standard type issue style size-wise pieces to begin with, and if you've got specific requests for new pieces, that's always something you can run by me, as I think the 6mm gaming terrain out there is fairly sparse for quality terrain, based on at least the brief research that I've done online. And so I'm happy to start to fulfill the needs of those gamers, because quite frankly, I enjoy working small. I thought it was very challenging and fun to work in developing these pieces. So again, visit TerranScapes.com to see photos of these, to see them listed on the website, and to see contact information if you want to talk to me about your gaming needs and how I can bring your Micro Armor gaming to the edge of reality.